It's been a year since Casey Anthony was found not guilty of murdering her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee. Casey has kept a low profile since the controversial trial, serving probation at an undisclosed location in Florida. But so many other details have been kept in the dark until now. Jose Baez was her criminal defense attorney. He has a new book, Presumed Guilty, Casey Anthony, The Inside Story. We know so much about this trial, and I was just saying it was almost by osmosis. People knew what was happening in this trial. This was the most hated woman in America. Her daughter was dead. She gets off. You become famous in the process, too. I mean, how did this change your life?
Incredibly. It started out very difficult. There were times that people couldn't draw the line between a legal professional and the accused. I had helicopters flying over my house. My wife and I had a child during the process, and we had to keep the baby confidential, and when we went into the hospital, all kinds of craziness going on. And when you say a lot of people have heard so much about the case, I'm of the opinion that no, you haven't.
So what do I not know about this case?
Well, there's so much more. For example, how mythical some of the stories are, such as the chloroform. Chloroform was never an issue in this case. There are dozens and dozens of pieces of evidence that it was just outright insane. Air samples. In what world do you see that?
What is her relationship now with her parents? I read that she talks to her mother every day, but that she does not really have a relationship with her dad. Do you know what the situation is there? Because her relationship with her father and accusations about her father were something that you brought up for reasonable doubt.
Well, she allowed me permission to write the book and to tell the story, the entire story, from beginning to end. Unfortunately, it ends after she gets out of prison. Anything beyond that, I think I would be crossing the line as to my agreement with her.
I'm kind of interested, aside from the obvious that it was the facts were kind of sensational, now that you've had some time to reflect, what do you think it was about our culture, our bigger culture, that made this so fascinating to everybody on a day-to-day basis?
I think because she was young, pretty, and white. I'm going to call people out on it.
But a little crazy, too. Like, women
looked
at this case. It wasn't because she was young, pretty, and white. It was because there was a beautiful child gone, and this woman running around saying, oh, here's my office at the Universal Studios, or, oh, I have, all this fantasy world.
Absolutely, but if you do this business long enough, you're going to see crazier stories, crazier cases.
Everybody's crazy.
Not necessarily everybody's crazy, but you're going to see some outrageous behavior across the board. But what brought it in, what gave this case legs, is that it's who Casey is, her family, the couple that with the odd facts, and you've got yourself a regular 3-ring circus, and that's what made this case what it was, to the point where what I try to explain in the book is give the facts. Let everybody make their determination from the facts, and after you're done reading the book, if you think she's innocent, great. If you think she's still guilty, that's obviously your option as well. But without people knowing the true story, the facts, the inside story, because I was the only person from the first day to the very last day to be in the case.
You think you had good facts? You think you had good facts? I mean, you think most good criminal lawyers could have got her off, or you got her off because it was
no. There were some bad facts, and there were times in the case where I felt this case is
you thought the case.
Yes, there were times when we thought to ourselves, I need to talk to her about a plea. But as we started digging deeper and looking beyond the headlines, see, there's no room for the facts in the headlines. And once you start looking beyond that, you can start seeing.
Did you think you were going to, when that jury came in, did you think you were going to win?
I felt very strong about our case. I felt throughout the entire trial we were making headway, and I could look across the courtroom and see the jury nodding their heads in agreement with some of our points.
So you got a good feeling. All right, Jose Baez, the book is called Presumed Guilty is the name of the book. There you go. Ahead on Starting Point.